Alright guys, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the screen again and we're going to see where my hand stops. Her name is Zeta, and that's who we're gonna go with. And let's start Zeta. When you look at this, this is a really great photo because it's more of a portrait situation and it's more of like a hipster, raw analog vibe, but it does work. What I do appreciate is that the hands are creating long lines, and also there's nothing that is really stealing the attention. It's a nice, muted, faded look, but there isn't any gesture that the model's doing that's stealing the attention. So I like it. It wouldn't be like the primary photo that they should start with, but it does show a little bit of her skills and her talent. Not the strongest photo because it really isn't showing anything. I can't see the face. A lot of times what we're hiring for is the face, and you don't really want to do stuff like this unless that they're more well known and they're famous, and then the body shape matters. But really what we're selling is the face. This is a great photo. Even though she doesn't have a lot of expression in her face, I feel like she has expression in her eyes. This is an example of me saying, tell the model to think of something. Think of your favorite friend, think of your favorite pet or your favorite school teacher. But they're thinking of something, and you can just see in her eyes that the expression is there. That's why this photograph works really beautifully. I mean, listen, it's about the lines. So you get the lines that's like here, you get the lines with the legs up, and even though her face is in the dark, it works beautifully because the lines are there. It shows that they can bend. It shows that they understand how their body moves. If you can show that the model understands how their body moves, then they're going to get more jobs. And they're going to say, okay, so you're going to move in our dress, you're going to move in our pant or our shirt. But that's not the only secret part of this. If you can make the model look like the star, more times than you would ever imagine, the agency will tell the clothing brand, oh, this was our photographer, because they're like, this is such a phenomenal photo, who shot it? Because they may not hire you for that campaign, but they will keep you in mind for the next campaign. Been hired that way just by shooting a model's portfolio, and they're like, God, this is a really beautiful photo, and who shot it? It's Walid Azami, and then they come to me for that. This next photo is really important because if you look at her face, there is expression. She's in a thought, she's doing something, and there's nothing wrong with having something in the foreground as her hand is over here, because it does show her face very clearly. I think that sometimes when you have them doing something with their hands, whether they're sewing or drinking or playing an instrument, what have you, what'll happen is that it helps them relax. If they're just sitting there and posing, especially if they're newer, that causes them to stiffen up, and you can really read that right here. So her playing around, it's hard to be tense when you're playing around with your hands. So keep that as a pro tip. Move something, have them do something. But the best way to have them do something is to look through their Instagram and see what they do. If they ride bicycles, and maybe do a shot of them on a bicycle. If they sew, maybe bring some yarn and be like, yo, work with this and see what we can do. This photo is nice. It's nothing like great. It's more of an artsy portrait. That's great. Okay, eyes closed. I do like this because, again, as a photographer, I do want to see what I'm working with. It's a very bare photo, but just seeing the shape of the eyes closed, the brows and everything is important, and I know that the model isn't afraid to bring it and bring a variety of emotions. That's all that it is. So don't be afraid to shoot them with their eyes closed. She's really beautiful, by the way. This is a superstar photo. It should be closer to the top. She looks like she's moving and she's like really squeezing, or she was probably just going back and forth and putting her face into that cellophane, or no, it's not plastic. That's actually crumpled up paper. I'm wrong on that. But regardless, she's doing something with a lemon in her mouth. Here's something that I hate. When people do a fake scream in a photo, you're not screaming. I'm not fooled. Nobody thinks you're screaming. No one believes it, and you look like a fool. But if you have something in their mouth, if you actually tell them, I want to hear you. So I directed a music video last week, and I was like, I cannot hear you sing your own song. The artist was just quieter. No, I want to hear you, because when I can hear you, that means you're really performing. That means you're not faking it. That means the photograph or the video is going to turn out beautiful. So in this case, just squeeze that lemon and laugh, squeeze that lemon and like try to sing a song. But whatever it might be, it is real. She did really good on this one. A good clean photo, no emotion on her face, but the emotions are in her eyes. Another clear example that I think that this is the same photographer that shot the other one that I referenced. This is a clear example of a model that is thinking of something. No emotion here, no emotion here. It's all in the eyes and it's really powerful, and she's just surrounded by like this mylar, and I could see that she's thinking of something. I feel connected with her. A profile shot, super important. Always include that in your packages when you photograph a model. I do want to see what does your nose and chin and line, all those lines look like. Just want to just point that out too. Yo, you have no idea how important this part is. That's why I always say extend the damn neck. So looking up is a beautiful, beautiful photo. It's so sexy, but it's powerful. It's a lifeline. Whether it's a girl, whether it's a guy, always enhance here. It's not something that people know that they like, but when they see it, they're like, God, I really love that, but no one really says anything. It's just a beautiful, beautiful line. I think that the lighting here is beautiful. I think this is not a good photo. Otherwise, it's just dead inside. It's an example of the model isn't thinking of anything. The model's just kind of waiting, and I would almost even bet money that the model is just kind of like bored with the shoot at this point, and the photographer just really loved the backlighting. This is an example of trying too hard. I don't believe her expression. I think that this might be some of her earlier photos. It just doesn't look real. It's trying too hard. It's like some people are like, something's in your eyes, you just kind of show a little, but she's like, it just doesn't work for me at all. Nice attempt at a Bruce Weber, Kate Moss photo. I'm not sure if it's Bruce Weber who shot that, but Kate Moss has a beautiful photo like that. Hers just has no emotion behind it, no connection. She could have been like a siren coming out of the water and at least connect with the camera. So if you're going to show only a tiny part of them, then the eye is so important because the legs and the arms, everything is hidden from view. Make sure that the eyes connect. There's literally no emotion here. That's 3 strikes in a row. Oh my God, 4 strikes. Can someone tell me in the comment what's great? It's a cool snapshot, it's a cool photo, but I wouldn't hire her. There's no reason because there's no emotion, there's no shape to the body, there's no popping a hip, there's nothing, there's no life in the eyes, and that's what you want to avoid. You could tell I think I'm hitting the beginner level photos because that's more towards the end of her portfolio. No expression at all. Again, nothing. This has a little bit more, but it looks like a low budget Taylor Swift shoot. She's trying too hard. See the thing, this is a great example. She's like, it doesn't work like that. It has to be very, very subtle, and it has to be believable. So that's why you tell them, don't just squeeze your eyes because now it looks odd. Tell them to think of something. Tell them to think of somebody. And then that way it doesn't seem like a caricature of themselves. You actually believe it. I'm just more impressed by the background, the tower. There's nothing special about it. There's no pose. The 2 hands on the hip, generally, unless you're like Naomi Campbell walking down a runway, unimpressive. There's no expression on the face. There's nothing. Nothing is alive. Her body's not alive. Her face is not alive. God, what a beautiful pose. What a beautiful line on her back. Dead. Dead. So I see why this one made the portfolio, but I wouldn't be too proud of this photo. And as soon as it is replaced, like if we shot something similar or we have more images, this should be out. This has a tiny bit. Thank God there's something redeeming by the end of this. There's something in her eyes. She was probably thinking of something. With Zeta, you can just tell that she clearly has grown. So I would claps for Zeta and her growth. I think that the agency should remove all that, but that has nothing to do with the photography. The key component from Zeta's portfolio is that connect with the camera, 1. Number 2, make them think of something. Number 3, show some profile. I do want to see that. Number 4, make them do something. Every time she is doing something, her pictures are better, like substantially better. So I hope that that helps you. And then if you're interested in my free photographer survival package, sign up for that down below. It's free, a ton of freebies. All my socials are in the show notes, and I would love it if you subscribe to this channel. I want to teach you how to make money and do it the best way possible. Check out this whole playlist of me critiquing models' portfolios so photographers can do better. My name is Walid Azami. Thank you so much for watching. I'm gonna go walk around the hotel now.